says, what is it to be a king? And we have Daniel was the first one. Oh, he beat everyone out. He says that I think that to be a king is to be a leader. It is a person who can get whatever he wants, and everybody follows and tries to protect him. He is wealthy, and most important, to the people around him. That's very well written too. If you write your essay like that, you'll be good. I'm telling you right now, you don't have nothing to worry about. Okay. The J.M. Rican Boy 95, which has to be Giovanni Catini, right? He says, I think a king is who rules everything and has the right to do anything. It's nice to be king. Yeah? Also, a king is a person who has power and authority to do anything and say anything. Man. And it is a chief among competitors and that rules a kingdom. That's what I think a king is. Okay, my goodness. That sounds like a good person to be, right? And then Tommy, 123, says, a king is a person or a ruler of a place, group of people, or things. In certain places, a king was said to be the highest and most formal type of royalty ever. In places like Egypt, very good, kings were called pharaohs. Whatever they wanted, they received. Sometimes if a king was ever disrespected or disobeyed, the person that did that would be put to death. Ah, the good old days. To be a king does not mean to be one in which gains people's respect with fear or by bribe. It simply means to be a highly respected and honored person or ruler. For example, the husband is the king of his home. Though that means that he is the ruler, he cannot abuse his power and be a tyrant. You put tyranny.
Tyrant.
Yeah, but to be a tyrant. Right. Very good. That will make him a dictator, right? Yes, the king, obviously, when you see movies with kings in them, the emphasis of the king was to be compassionate for the people. That made a king of great esteem and great quality, right? That he loved his people. And that's what made them, famous. They made the people follow them and support, because you need the people behind you to obey, right? And to follow. You want them to go to war, they got to be willing to die for you. And the only reason they're going to be willing to die for you is if they know that you are, that you are trying to help them and supporting them in some way, that you really care for them. And we know history, when you study history in school, boring, right? History. But you see that kings ran into trouble, right? When they were tyrants with the people. And later on, the people revolted against them, right? And we know we in the United States were born because of that issue, right? The colonies went against King George of England because he was a tyrant. He wanted to tax us to death. Tax. Okay? And so the colonists felt that was an abuse of power, and so they revolted, they rebelled against him, right? So, and then the United States of America was born. Okay? So that's basically what you see happen. So, anybody else have something to add to what it is to be a king? We have some license. The king can do anything, so that your opinion that he can do anything, but really, can he do anything? Or is it a good idea for a king to do anything he wants? No. Right? So a king should have judgment, good judgment, right? Because even though he can do anything, but by doing anything, he may be left what? He may be exposing himself, right? To criticism and to people having lack of faith in him. And then that spurs on what? Rebellion, or some people might want to usurp his throne, right? Kill him and take his place. So, you have to be careful. Paul says something in the scripture. He says, I can do everything, but not everything is of profit. And meaning that even though we can do everything and anything, that doesn't mean that it's good for us to do it. See? So just because you can do it, doesn't mean you should do it. So you have to remember that. That's being very smart. You can do it. You can. But it doesn't mean you should. And so we need to have that. And a king definitely has to have that. So basically, so we are a royal. That's the royalty is there in that we have power. We have authority. Okay. Is wealth part of being a king? Definitely. So there is wealth. We have riches. Now, when I'm saying riches, it doesn't have to mean money. But I tell you something, talking about that, the things that God does for us and to us make us wealthy. They do. Because when you follow God's instructions, and you learn His word, and you become wise, because wisdom comes from God, or you become very smart, intelligent if you learn His word. You will make more money than somebody who doesn't. It's just the bottom line. If you really, really look into it and follow it earnestly, then riches do come to you, because having wealth is having intelligence. It's being able to take advantage of opportunities, to be creative, to be quick in your mind, to see an opportunity and to take advantage of it. And so we know that by God saying that we are a royal priesthood, we know that included in the process, in the effects of following His word and doing His will, there is an element of becoming wealthy. And then obviously the most important wealth that we need to be concerned about is our spiritual wealth, right? Our ability to do what? What is the purpose of life?